Welcome to Epic Conversations. I'm Diane, and I'm here today with my special guest, David.
Thank you.
And David and we were talking off the show about unity. And there really is power in unity. Yes, so what can you share with this in unity?
Sorry, I was waving at something there. So, unity, first off, and I want to really talk about the power of unity, but I want to start with how do you get people unified? You know, whether it be a husband, wife, because I know your husband's talking about a new car.
Right. We've got to get some unity going over here.
Yeah.
He wants a new rifle, a new this, and wait a minute here, there's other things that have priority.
Exactly. But that's a great point. In unity, we always think about the big things, you know, about buying a house or moving across country. Mm-hmm. But unity has power even in the small things. So how do you get unified? Well, first off, there has to be a vision.
That's what I was thinking too. There has to be a common goal or a common vision.
Yeah.
And whatever decisions are made, do they line up with that vision?
And here's the thing about it is the vision that gets cast initially may not bring unity. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have to be able to explain your vision. You know, bring vision to your vision might be a better way to put that. So that people get behind it and they see the value, it makes sense to them now. I was just reading just this morning, one of the stories in the Bible I love is in Genesis, the Tower of Babel. And I love that story because here's a people group who have purposed in their minds and their hearts that if we build this Tower of Babel all the way to heaven, that we can be just like God. And first off, it blows my mind that they would even think that they could possibly build something that would reach all the way to heaven. I mean, they had a vision, and get this, everybody was behind it. They were all in unity on that vision. So recently, it was all of last year actually, early in the year, we had a vision, or we had a goal in Comm Services. And it was to...
And you work at Andrew Wommack Ministries.
Yes, yeah.
As
and I'm
the
manager,
communication services manager.
So the goal was to lower the percentage of abandons, and abandons is the number of people who call that hang up before we can answer. Okay. And because we get 450,000 calls a year plus, we have people that hang up before we can get to them. And so we decided at the beginning of the year we wanted to lower that. So the first thing I did was I went to all my entire department and I said, you know, cast my vision and why we wanted to do that, and got everybody behind it. And then the next thing was, how do we solve this problem? And so each one of them started coming up with ideas, and we would weigh those ideas, and we came up with the ways we were going to get there. So we started with a goal. We then cast a vision for the goal. Why do we want to do this? And then we set about unified to do that. And everybody was working on that purpose, just like the Tower of Babel. Everybody was unified there. And at the end of the year, we had cut our abandon rate in half.
Praise God, that's awesome.
It is.
In half. Would you say that was partly because the team was in unity for that vision of reducing the number of abandoned calls?
Absolutely. They were in unity on the goal and the value of doing that and why we wanted to do that. And we just got emotionally attached to it. And that's all we thought about. That's all, everything, you know, we'd start talking about something. Well, is that going to impact abandons? No. It's a good idea, but right now we're going to focus on this.
That's a key point. It said, what about this? But no, if this is the vision, and does all these other ideas line up with that or not? If they don't, sorry, it's not going to happen right now. Well, this is the main goal. And it reminds me of something I had heard a minister one time say, that he was doing unity in leadership teams. And the goal was to buy a vehicle for the pastor. This was in the church. But because the goal was to buy the car, but here was where there was a struggle with the unity, because some of the people were, farmers, and they thought, well, we could get them an old used car with bald tires,
Old pickup
and then
truck.
you have the lawyer who's, dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars, and he wants to buy him a brand new car, and so the unity had to come between respecting that their people have different ways to achieve buying the car for the pastor, but somehow the unity, they had to reach that. So that was a little conflict, but it sounds like your team kind of was able to mesh together, and they were able to obtain that goal and unified in even how they were going to accomplish it.
And what the vision does is it takes everybody's expectations. Because like your example, the lawyer had one expectation where we should buy a Mercedes, van, and the farmer had another. Well, I've got an old Chevy pickup truck with corn sticking out the back end that I can just give to you. So they each had their own expectations. The person who cast the vision brings the reality.
That's good. Yes. The reality and defining what it is that we do want for the pastor. We want to have a vehicle that's clean. We want to have a vehicle that's reliable, that's new, that can get them transported, that can be large enough for whatever.
Correct.
And so once those are defined, that would weed out some of the others, or way on one end or maybe way on the other. But let's get in unity.
Absolutely.
That's good. That's very, very good.
And the last thing I want to say, because we started off talking about the power of unity, and I want to go right back to the Tower of Babel. So as they were building it, God said, we need to go down and check this out. Because if they are one accord, if they're unified, what they're talking about will come to pass. And so the power is, if you're unified, what you're unified on will come to pass. And that's what you have to focus on.
That could be good or bad.
Exactly. And the Tower of Babel was going to be bad at that time. Now, fast forward to the New Testament. If the church is unified under Jesus, then, Jesus' will, God's will come to pass.
Amen to that. That's great. That's awesome. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me again. I enjoy this.
You're welcome. Anytime. And we thank you for joining us. And this power of unity gives you something to think about. We look forward to seeing you next time.
And I look forward to seeing your new car.
Oh, yeah. And in the meantime, John's looking forward to seeing his own rifle. In the meantime, have an epic day in the Lord.